Watched that video countless times, and it sure looks like Brittney Griner says, white girl.
Just when it seemed like the WNBA might finally recognize the star power that helped pull it back into the spotlight, a frustrating wave of contradiction and bitterness has surfaced instead. Leading the spectacle is Brittney Griner, who appears to view the huge audiences drawn by Caitlin Clark as an issue rather than a positive development.
Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. She says WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax, maybe even get a little work done. But now it's like there's large gatherings of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score, like we're there for their entertainment. You are! The whole thing is toxic. I saw a guy with his daughter in the crowd, both of them yelling, couldn't hear what they were saying exactly, but it was either my performance or some...
But here's where things take an interesting turn. Stephen A. Smith, who has long been passionately arguing for Caitlin Clark's importance while others stayed cautious, has finally hit his limit. And when he reaches that point, it usually signals a moment that shakes up the entire sports world, delivering a blunt reality check that's hard to ignore.
To be honest with you folks, the WNBA already set a precedent. It doesn't matter what Brittney Griner said. It doesn't matter what Brittney Griner said, because they've already shown us they don't need evidence, they don't need substance, they don't need any type of proof at all to launch a bogus investigation into Indiana Fever fans, so they shouldn't need any substance, any basis, any evidence to launch an investigation into any other fan, any other player, any other group. The WNBA set.
If you've been following Stephen A. Smith's take on the WNBA over the past year, it's been like watching him steadily build toward an inevitable outburst grounded in what he sees as plain logic. At this point, the issue goes beyond just basketball. It's about a league appearing to undermine its own momentum, largely because some players and decision-makers seem unwilling to acknowledge how much impact one rookie, Caitlin Clark, has had.
Brittney Griner was in a Russian prison. You would think that somebody who is now free, back in America on home soil, would not have too much to complain about. Especially something like this. Fans in every sport. She described the fans.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what sport you are. It doesn't matter what sport you pick. That's how fans act in every arena.
This situation has been developing for quite some time, arguably from the moment Caitlin Clark entered the professional stage and quickly became one of the most influential figures the league has ever seen. While many within the WNBA treated her like an outsider who didn't quite belong, Stephen A. Smith consistently spoke out, presenting arguments he viewed as undeniable and grounded in clear evidence.
We know this. Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier. 319%. 319%. All other teams still grew by double-digit percentages. So let's not forget that. But they didn't grow by 319%. That was Caitlin Clark, which means she's largely responsible for the overall league attendance records. Merchandise sales were also up 450% for the WNBA, according to Fanatics, and Clark was the top-selling player and is fifth among athletes across all...
We'll have to wait and see. We don't know yet, Stephen A. Smith said while discussing Caitlin Clark's influence on the WNBA ratings. He emphasized that he's especially curious to see what happens, adding that if there ends up being a sharp decline, then critics may need to reconsider their stance. The situation is almost like ignoring a clear opportunity while complaining about lacking success, and Stephen's role in all of this is pointing out that the solution has been obvious all along.
And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been gone for those 2 weeks.
If you're enjoying this, consider subscribing. Now, let's look at the numbers for a moment, because some people in the WNBA leadership might need a serious reality check. Games featuring Caitlin Clark this season have averaged about 1.178 million viewers, while games without her have only pulled in around 394,000. That's not just a small difference. It's an enormous gap of nearly 200%, essentially meaning her games attract about 3 times the audience. To put it simply, Clark's presence has had a massive impact, almost like a one-person boost to the league's popularity. A clear example is the season opener between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, which drew 2.7 million viewers on ABC, making it the most-watched WNBA game ever on ESPN platforms.
And also, news just came out. Ratings are higher than it's ever been for the WNBA.
Yeah.
Congrats to Caitlin Clark. It's crazy how that works.
I mean, what are you going to do? Proof's in the pudding, kind
Get a girl out of Iowa.
Exactly.
Who can pull up from the state next door.
Yeah.
And light up an entire arena, every arena.
But this is where Stephen A. Smith's frustration really peaks. Instead of the WNBA leadership fully embracing the moment and celebrating the surge in attention, their response has felt muted, limited to routine statements and generic posts. It comes across as if they're uncomfortable acknowledging just how much impact one player can have. Meanwhile, Stephen has been watching all of this unfold, growing increasingly frustrated as Caitlin Clark continues to shatter viewership records, fill arenas, and push the league further into the mainstream, while some voices still downplay her significance or question the spotlight she's receiving.
Clark. Now I've taken hits because I was calling it from day one. You got people that are resentful towards her, but it's really not about her, guys. It's about what she represents. Before she ever came along, there were a lot of outstanding basketball players who happened to be black females that was doing their thing on the WNBA level. And they never got this kind of shine. This girl, the Golden Goose, comes along and she wreaks havoc. She's the Rookie of the Year. She's 4th in the league in MVP voting. 4th in the league, her rookie.
Then comes Brittney Griner, a veteran who spent years in the WNBA playing in front of relatively small crowds suddenly sees a dramatic shift when Caitlin Clark arrives. Games become must-watch events, and arenas start filling up. But instead of embracing that surge in attention, the reaction described here is that she raises concerns about the crowds, which adds to the growing sense of tension around the league's newfound spotlight. The passage argues that Caitlin Clark has dramatically boosted the WNBA's popularity, ratings, and revenue, yet parts of the league, including players like Brittney Griner, have responded with resentment rather than appreciation. It highlights claims of double standards in how controversies are handled and emphasizes Stephen A. Smith's outspoken defense of Clark, portraying her as the key driver of the league's recent success and warning that failing to support her could hurt the WNBA's growth.